Hello student, Namaskar. I am Dr. Sam Kishore Patel, Assistant Professor in School of Agriculture, ITM University Gwalior. As you are in BSc AG 5th semester, that is third year, and I will teach you plant pathology subject. And the course number is PP311 and course title is Diseases of Field and Horticultural Crop and Their Management. First, in which we only study the field crop diseases. So in today's lecture in unit number 1, that is a disease of wheat, and that comes under lecture number 4, that is part 2. First I will give outline of the today lecture, what we study in the today lecture. So first is introduction to wheat diseases, then what are the different objective of the today lecture, then economic importance of the today lecture, why we need to study these wheat diseases, and in today's lecture I cover only two diseases, that is Alternaria blight and ear cockle disease. After that after covering these diseases I will give the exercise for you, and I also explain the what are the different learning outcome of the today lecture. Then what are the different research scope you do after these after seeing this video or after studying these wheat diseases, and at last I quoted the reference. So first, introduction to wheat disease. As you know, as I told you earlier, wheat is the most important staple food in India as well as in the world. Mostly wheat are grown in the North India, but nowadays this wheat is grown in South India as well as in the northeastern part. Wheat are mainly grown in Rabi season, and because these wheat crop are grown in the Rabi season, and these crop are more prone to attacked by the number of pathogen. Yes, so huge losses caused due to these diseases. So in today's lecture I cover only two diseases, that is Alternaria blight and ear cockle disease. Then ear cockle disease is most important, and around 15 to 20% yield losses occur due to these ear cockle diseases, because in ear cockle diseases the two pathogens are involved. First one is a bacteria and second one is a nematode. And when these two pathogens are occur simultaneously, then almost 15 to 20% crop losses occurs. So these diseases are very important, and so then what are the different objective of the today lecture? So to study the various diseases in which only cover the two diseases. First one is Alternaria blight and second one is Tundu or ear cockle disease. Then detection and identification of the pathogen. In this part I explain the which pathogen or causer organism are responsible for causing these diseases, and how we detect these diseases or these pathogen in the field condition. What are the different aspect we study in these for identifying the diseases, and then to study the disease cycle. In disease cycle part I explain the what are the primary source of the inoculum, then second one is what are the secondary source of the inoculum, and how these pathogen completed their disease cycle in the host, that means plant. Then last one is to study the management of various diseases. In management of various diseases I explain the how we overcome or managing these disease situation in the field condition. So these are the different objective of the today lecture. Now what are the economic importance of the today lecture? As I told you earlier, wheat is the most important staple food in India as well as in the world. Mainly in India, mainly in North India, most of the people have a eating habit as a chapati. So chapati is made by the wheat, and production of the wheat is also uh, high as compared to the other cereal crop, and in wheat the large number of diseases occurs, and because of the wheat diseases a huge crop losses occurs in the wheat crop, and almost 40 to 50% crop loss due to the wheat diseases. Then first disease is the leaf blight, and these leaf blight disease caused by the Alternaria triticina. This leaf blight disease is very important, and this disease first report in India by the Prasad and Prabhu scientists in 1962. Before 1962, these diseases are not reported in India, and mainly when it discovered this disease as a minor disease, but nowadays this is a major disease and causes huge losses. This disease is most prevalent in the Maharashtra, Bihar, West Bengal, and Uttar Pradesh, and some part of the MP. And seedling are not prone to infection, and this disease mainly attack the old plant. So seedling of the wheat is infection free from the these Alternaria triticina pathogen, that means leaf blight disease, and almost 15 to 20% crop losses yield losses occur due to these leaf blight disease that is caused by the Alternaria triticina. Then in symptoms parts, as you know that in simple blight condition, the brownish spot we can see in the leaves, and these spot enlarge inside and later on, and it cover the entire leaf, and finally these leaf are dried and defoliate prematurely. So reddish brown oval spot appear on the young seedling, which bright yellow in margin, and in severe cases several spot In severe cases, several spot coalescence to cause drying of the leaves, and young leaves are not usually infected, and heavy infected field display a burnt symptoms, and in some variety reduction of grain yield as high as 90% if the infection take place before booting stage or boot leaf stage. As you see in the photograph, there is a brownish or orange color, reddish brownish is oval spot appear on the leaves, and these have the yellow margin as you clearly see in the photograph. And when these spot are enlarged inside, and it cover the entire leaf of the beet, and these leaves are dried and shed prematurely, as I told earlier. So in some variety, reduction of yield is as high as 90% in infection. It take place at the leaf boot leaf stage, and these are the symptoms of the Alternaria triticina that caused leaf blight disease in the beet. And in pathogen characteristic, the fungus produce light brown colored multicellular conidia. So, and they have 1 to 10 transverse septa and 1 to 5 longitudinal septa. So, most important characteristic of the Alternaria in the slide preparation, we clearly see the oval shaped conidia we can see in the simple microscope when we prepare slide, and these oval shaped conidia have the transverse as well as longitudinal septa. So these transverse as longitudinal septa presents only on the Alternaria conidia. So these are the most important identification characteristic of the Alternaria in the lab condition. And these conidia present in a singly or in a chain of 2 to 4, and these Alternaria have a septate mycelium, and because these Alternaria comes under higher fungus, and in disease cycle part, the pathogen overwinters in summer in the plant debris and the soil. So plant debris means the when after harvesting some parts of the plant remain present on the field, and these infected plants serve as the source of the inoculum, and sometimes these pathogen also survive as a dormant stage in the soil. The primary spread is by the externally and the internally seed one conidia. So primary infection by the infected plant debris and seed. And secondary infection is mainly through the wind-borne conidia, because these conidia spread with the help of the air or wind. So within a very few days, it covers the entire field of the wheat, and if initial precaution was not taken for controlling the leaf blight disease, then heavy losses occurred. Then in favorable condition, if temperature is 25 degrees centigrade and high relative humidity, then when these two conditions are coincide each other, then these conditions are very favorable to development of the these leaf blight disease in the wheat. And in management part, if we soak the seed in the water for 4 hours followed by 10 minutes and dip in hot water at 52 degrees centigrade, then we destroy or remove the seed-borne pathogen from the seed. And if we sow these treated seed, then we control the leaf blight diseases. And if we grow resistant varieties such as CO25, Sonalika, Arnotka, E6160 and K7340, these are the resistant variety against leaf blight disease. And if we spray the crop with the fungicides such as Mancozeb at the rate of 0.25% and or Zineb at the rate of 0.25%, then we control the leaf blight disease in the wheat. The next disease is the Tundu disease. Tundu disease we also called it as a yellow slime disease or earcockle disease. So these Tundu disease are caused by the combination of the two pathogen. First one is the nematode, that is Inguina triticea, and the second one is a bacteria, that is Cornybacterium triticina or Clavibacter triticea. These Clavibacter triticea have a gram-positive bacteria, and these diseases are most important in the wheat cultivation area, because in each field the nematode are present, but infection is such minimal, so we cannot identify the infection of the nematode. But sometimes the infection of the nematode is large, so we need to control these infection. And in economic important part, this disease was first reported by the Hutchinson in 1917 from the Punjab region in India, and almost 10 to 15% crop losses caused due to these Tundu diseases. And these Tundu diseases are most prevalent in the Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan in India, and sometimes these diseases also present on the Maharashtra region. In symptoms part, the Tundu disease is characterized by the twisting of the stem, distortion of the earhead, and rotting of the spikelet. The rotting of the spikelet with the profuse oozing of the yellow liquid, because this disease caused by the bacteria, so oozing is very common from the bacterial infection. The ooze contain masses of the bacterial cell. So these are the most important symptoms of the Tundu disease, that is twisting of the stem, distortion of the earhead, and rotting of the spikelet with the profuse oozing of the yellow mosses. If a nematode infected alone, then there is a winkling, twisting, and various other distortion of the leaves occur due to the single nematode infection. And stem, and they produce small round galls on the leaves, and the infected plant are shorter and thicker as compared to the healthy plants, and in the distorted earhead dark galls are found in place of the kernels. These are the symptoms that caused by if nematode infected alone. When bacteria associated with the nematode, the disease symptoms are intensified as the flowering stage, and yellow ear rot set is due to combined action of the nematode and the bacteria. The earhead becomes choppy, and the kernels are replaced by the dark nematode galls, which also contain the bacteria. The infected plants produce more tiller than the healthy ones, and another interesting feature is the early emergence of the ear in the nematode infected plant, which is about 30 to 40 days earlier than the healthy one. So these are the most important characteristic, identifying characteristic when nematode infection is occurs. So these are the symptoms caused by the Tundu or yellow slime disease in the wheat. So these are the most important disease, and almost 10 to 15% crop losses caused due to these diseases. Then in pathogen characteristics, as I told earlier, these Corynebacteria have the rod shape, gram positive, and they are motile by the single polar flagella. Then in disease cycle part, so you see in the photographs we clearly see the nematode infected tundu infected earhead and the healthy earhead. In right side you see the tundu infected earhead, and left side is the normal earhead. So there is a choppy grains occurs in the tundu infection. Then in disease cycle parts, the disease start from the seed contaminated with the nematode galls, and when such contaminated seed are sown in the field, they absorb moisture from the soil and the leaves. Larvae of the nematode we told as a juvenile stage, and these larvae escape from the galls and climb upon the young wheat plants. At the time of the flowering, the nematode enter the floral parts and form galls in the ovary. When once the nematode is inside the tissue of the ovary, the bacteria become active and cause rotting of the earhead. And the yellow ooze coming from the out of the rotting earhead provide the inoculum from the secondary spread of the disease, which is favored by the wind as well as rain. The nematode probably function as a vector transporting the bacterium to otherwise inaccessible meristematic region of the host. The nematode secretes some substance in the presence of the host bacterium, which can remain viable for at least 5 years in the galls of the Alternaria inguinatici, and the nematode galls are reported to remain in the soil for 20 years or more, and the bacteria can also survive for the same period inside the nematode gall. So these are the disease cycle of the tundu or yellow slime disease. And in favorable condition its temperature is around 15 degrees centigrade and relative humidity is 65 degrees centigrade, and if rain occurs at the time of the flowering, then these diseases are most mainly occurs these favorable condition. And in management part, the so golf in management part, if we select seed for the sowing, that seed is the gall free, and if we separate the gall from the seed by the floating in brine solution at 160 gram of sodium chloride in a 1 liter of the water, so by this we remove the galls and we treat the seed. Wheat, barley, or oats should not be sown in the infested soil, and if we spray the streptocycline 1 gram in 10 liter of the water, then we control the disease in the field condition. So these are the management part of the tundu or yellow slime diseases. So in today's lecture, I explain only two diseases, that is leaf blight and tundu or yellow slime or ear cockle disease. If you have any doubt, then you call me or contact me. Now I will give one exercise. You go to wheat field and collect a sample of the dead diseases and make a herbarium file. You also when return back to lab condition, then at time you prepare a slide and you also isolate these pathogen in the lab with the help of the microscope and the artificial media. And you also expect to identify the diseases on the basis of the symptoms. These are the exercise part of the today lecture. Then what are the learning outcome of the today lecture? So in today I explain the leaf blight and tundu disease, that is ear cockle disease. In each disease I explain the causal organism, favorable condition, pathogen characteristic, disease cycle, symptoms, and management part. I also explain the how you detect or identify these disease in the field condition on the basis of the symptoms. These are the learning outcome part of the today lecture. Then what are the different research scope part of the today lecture? So student form or frame their research such as to develop eco-friendly management of the diseases in which in these topics. And in this objective, student select the best strain of the Trichoderma and Pseudomonas for controlling bacteria, fungus, and bacterial pathogen. And student also frame research as a survey and screening of the wheat diseases in the Chambal region. And after collection of the sample from the different region, they isolate and finding as which isolate is the most more virulent as compared to other isolate. And a student also frame a research for selection of the best botanical extract for controlling the these pathogen with the help of the poison food technique. So these are the research scope part of the today lecture. Then these are the references from which I make the presentation. And if you want to further study, then you search these you read these books, and you also search these URL, these website, and you also search ICRE course. So in today I cover the lip blight and the ear cockle disease or tundu disease. Then after seeing my video, if you have any doubts in your mind, then you call me or contact me. You also ask your doubt in the webinar classes. So with this remark I concluded the today lecture. And so thank you for watching my video. Best of luck.